What's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, coming at you live from my garage, and this is the Fantasy Footballin' Show. Today's episode, Week 11, Thursday night play or pause, and it is our start-sit episode for the specific teams for Thursday Night Football. Jason did the Titans in yesterday's episode, so if you want to go see that, just click on the video before this. So, I'm doing the Packers, and before I start, if you guys like this video, if you don't mind just clicking a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of this, you can click subscribe, and if you don't want to see any more of this ever, thumbs down it, send us a hate message. So thanks for taking the time for that. And first off, Aaron Rodgers. He's 2-2 all time versus the Titans. Like 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He started off with 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Last one, 4 touchdowns. So historically he's done really well against the Titans. And this year, the Titans are the 29th best, 29th worst, I guess, against quarterbacks. So, and they're the 4th best against running backs. So the game script here is going to be passing the ball a lot. So I believe in Aaron Rodgers throwing for about, maybe 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. And, even this season, through all the bad stuff, he's on our waiver wire. No, he was picked up this last week, but he's been on and off our waiver wire in our 10-man league. And, dude, I just checked it out. He scores like 15 points a game. Really. He averages like 300 yards. Or no, like 225 yards and 2 touchdowns a game. But with the emergence of Christian Watson and the way that this game is going to be, like the Titans really locking down the run game, I can see him throwing for like 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to get like 18 fantasy points, and I would press play on Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, and Tennessee defense is allowing 10 points, total, like to opponents, total points to other NFL teams in 3 of the last 4 games, which is crazy. And only 20 points to Kansas City, which is the outlier of those 4 games. And that's since the bye. But those opponents have been Indianapolis, Houston, and Denver, the worst offenses in the league. So I think Green Bay has better offense than that. Not so much, to Kansas City's level, but enough for Aaron Rodgers to succeed and be a valuable starter this week for us. So next up, talking about, hey, are you afraid of starting running backs because the Tennessee Titans have been locking them down? No, I am not, because Aaron Jones, has over 20 carries per game and over 130 yards so he's got 20 carries and over 130 yards in 2 of the last 3 games. That's amazing. He just got a touchdown this last week. But, these are against people that you can run on. So, one game versus Titans. What was I kidding? Oh, yeah. So in week 7, they went against Washington and they were stuffing the run. He went 10 for 94 in receptions. So I can see that, going against the Titans, he's going to get a lot of receptions. I think that he's going to get like 50 or 70 rushing yards, and like 60 receiving yards. I don't think he's going to get a touchdown this game, but he's the pass catching back. And if you're going to go against Tennessee, you can actually bleed him out by throwing to your running back. And specifically, the last time they went against a run-stopping defense, Aaron Jones killed him, by catching a ton of passes. So I would press play on Aaron Jones. Expect, maybe like 130 total yards, no touchdowns. But hey, that's amazing. That's like a low-end running back 1 right now. So that's not bad at all. And Tennessee has shut down Jonathan Taylor-Thomas since the bye, Dameon Pierce, Pacheco, and the Denver rushing attack. So it's just they have actually been doing really well against the run. So that's like making people be afraid of Aaron Jones. But if you look at it closely, he's going to be catching a ton of passes. Jason's texting me right now that Goddard's on IR. Hey, dude, watch my episodes. I said that yesterday. Pick up Jack Stoll as backup. Jason, come on, man. Anyways, and so I'm pressing play on, Aaron Jones. Expect 13 points-ish, plus those reception points. So maybe 15 points, PPR, half PPR league. A.J. Dillon, on the other hand, I'm pressing pause on. He does have 10 or more carries in 4 of the last 5, but he hasn't scored since week 1. And he's averaging 0.75 receptions over the last 4, so he's not getting anything. And he's going to need a score through the air or goal line against Tennessee. So he's going to be very touchdown dependent. He hasn't scored since week 1. So no, you're not going to roll the dice. I mean, he can score a touchdown in this game, but you're not going to roll the dice on this. It's not, the odds are not in your favor. I'm pressing pause on A.J. Dillon. We're going on to Alan Lazard. He's got no injury. He's not on the injury report this week, which is big. You know, he was averaging, 9 targets a game? And then he got injured, coming back from injury. It's like I saw him got killed on that shoulder thing. So I expect him to come back, and it might be good that people are paying more attention to Christian Watson for him. And let's see. I think he's kind of like the Juju Smith guy. Juju Smith went 10 for 88 versus Tennessee when they were getting locked down. So I can see him. I think he's going to get like 100 yards and a touchdown. I think he is going to catch a touchdown from Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers, was going to throw like 2 touchdowns, 1 to Lazard, 1 to Christian Watson. That's my best odds. But I do think that Lazard's going to have more yards than Christian Watson, more targets. I think he's going to go, 7 for 100. So yeah, and Tennessee is 30th worst or best, whatever you want to say. They're bad against wide receivers this year. So they're stopping the run. They're allowing a lot of passing yards. Not a lot of touchdowns. It's like that bend, don't break. It's like their bend, don't break defense or whatever. So I would press play on Alan Lazard. Going to Christian Watson. Oh, yeah, Aaron Jones. Tennessee, whatever, dude. Christian Watson, 3 touchdowns, breakout game last week. He had a 40% target share. I think, and then Hardman, I think he's going to play like the Hardman role because like Tennessee's been locking everybody down. But I mean, you look at the teams I just mentioned, they don't have anybody. They've been terrible. So really the only game you can compare to like, maybe good weapons, a good quarterback is this Kansas City game. Hardman went 6 for 79 and a touchdown, which is funny because before I looked up that stat, I statted out Christian Watson for 5 for 75 and a touchdown this game. So that's very similar without me even knowing. So I kind of believe that a lot. I'm going to press play on Christian Watson. I think he's a wide receiver too. He's got I think he's going to be getting like, 70 yards a game with a lot of touchdown upside. And I mean, he can do 70 yards in one play. So, but I just need to see more of it. Press play on him, Christian Watson. Robert Tonyan, Titans 24th best against tight end. He only had 1 target last week versus Dallas. And he hasn't had over 5.5 fantasy points since week 6. And that was that huge 12-target game. So, and then we have DeGuara, some other tight end. He got 5 targets versus Lions last week. The week before last. So, and Kelsey went, 10 for 106. So he had 17 targets versus Tennessee. But hey, this isn't the same as Kelsey. You're gonna press pause on Robert Tonyan. He was a breakout candidate before the year started, and he should, he's had so many opportunities to be that breakout guy, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm pressing pause on Robert Tonyan. He's going to put more focus towards Watson. Next up, defense. Green Bay defense is averaging, about 1.5 sacks per game. It's not that great, but they are averaging about an interception and a half per game as well over the last 4, and that's pretty good. So, but the problem is Tannehill is actually playing pretty well too. And that's going to be, I should have mentioned this, for Aaron Rodgers and Lazard and all the offense. I think that Tennessee's going to be able to score some points. And I don't think that they're just going to have to rely on this run. I think it's going to be a throwing game for Green Bay because they're going to have to score points. And they're not going to be able to run the ball so much. So they're not going to be able to bleed out the clock or whatever. Because I do believe that Tannehill's going to have a couple touchdowns. Defense, yeah, so anyways, all that stuff. Haven't scored over 10 fantasy points since week 3. And Tennessee is 20th best or 20th worst versus opposing defenses. But it's just nothing you want to do, man. It's probably going to be a close game. Points are going to be scored. I should have looked at the Vegas over and under, but I'm sure it's like 40-something. Like 48 or something. So, yeah, I wouldn't start this defense. Next up, I pause on the defense. Mason Crosby, hasn't scored over 6 points since week 5. Tennessee is actually the 6th best versus kickers, which is kind of counterintuitive. I thought they'd actually give up a lot of field goals, but I think it's a lot of the defenses they've been playing. So Mason Crosby has a lot of opportunity, but looking at his history of just kicking field goals this year, he's been terrible. So I would press pause on Mason Crosby. So it's one of my shorter episodes. Thank you so much for watching. I have Derrick Henry playing, and I need him to go off. I needed him to go off last week, like the 1 week where he didn't, and it was just like, dude, I lost by 1.5 points last week. And if I lose in fantasy football, I just want to get curb stomped, you know? I just want to get decimated. I want to lose by 80 points. So, yeah, dude. Losing by that much sucks, because you just think about, oh, hey, man, if Dameon Pierce wouldn't have fumbled the ball, I would have won. Oh, yeah, hey, dude, if that suck-up guy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wouldn't have missed a field goal, I would have won. But we can't do this to ourselves. All we can do is put ourselves in the best position and then leave it be. Because, I mean, dude, you're just going to be going crazy with fantasy football stuff. I already do. I'm doing this for half my life, man. I'm 36. We've been doing this for half our lives. I'm going to die early death because of fantasy. Put that on my grave, man. Kill death by fantasy football. At least you guys will have this recorded. Play it for whoever knows. Play it for my family, please, so they know why I died. Sorry, I'm being a little dramatic here. I'm still sick a little bit. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And good luck on Thursday night. And I will see you with the tall can in my hand on Friday for the Beer Time Breakdown. Later.